Heard what Republicans had to say about the president's speech. Joining us live now from Washington is former Democratic Kansas Governor and current Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius.
Hey, good morning, Secretary Sebelius. How are you?
Good morning. I'm just fine. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for joining us. We know it's early. Republicans called the president's State of the Union a gimmick and familiar rhetoric with a failed record. Secretary Sebelius, is this business as usual on Capitol Hill?
Well, I hope not. Business as usual on Capitol Hill means that we would spend the year in partisan gridlock. And I think what the president again called for in his blueprint for an America that lasts is some investments to put us in a position where our children will be competitive in a global economy. So we need to reinvest in American manufacturing, and particularly in advanced manufacturing, to make sure that we bring jobs back to this country. We need to make sure that our workers have the skill sets they need. He talked about the gap between the number of openings and the number of workers. So investing in those workers, making sure that they have 21st century skills. American values. Everybody should get a fair shake in this country. That's been part of what America's about, but everybody needs to do his or her fair share and then play by the same rules. That means fixing our tax code and fixing our ethics issues in Congress. So those are some of the pillars that will really move us forward. And finally, American energy. And we know in Kansas about oil and gas that comes out of the United States. We know about wind and solar energy. So moving us to a greener, cleaner energy, again, produces millions of jobs and makes us far less dependent on people who frankly don't like us very much to import our oil. Those are the four pillars of an America for the future. We've had 23 straight months of job growth out of the worst recession since the Great Depression. We have businesses beginning to be profitable once again, but I think too many folks throughout the Midwest and throughout this country understand that we don't have a level playing field, that folks in the middle class are working hard every day, still struggling to get ahead, while people who have been enormously successful, enormously profitable in the last recent years need to do a bit more and help us as a country move forward together.
Secretary, one thing that we want to ask you while we have you here with us is about the new standards, the new nutrition standards that are going to be unveiled today, kind of the first change in 15 years, really changing what children are eating in schools. Of course, the goal here, we assume, is simply to make sure children are leading healthier lives, especially when childhood obesity is growing and becoming such an epidemic.
Well, you're absolutely right. And what we know is that a lot of children get now both breakfast and lunch at school. They eat what's available at school. And so if we're serving our children too few fruits and vegetables, if we're not making those meals not only nutritious, but edible, and kids really respond to what looks good to eat and what they learn about in school, we know that they're more likely to not eat the food or eat too much junk food. So having nutritious school lunches, more servings of fruits and vegetables, getting some of the trans fat out of school lunches, getting the sugar content greatly reduced is a huge step forward when a third of our children are either overweight or obese. This is a huge health issue in America, and I think school breakfasts and lunches, which are part of their daily diet, need to be as healthy as possible, and we need to get kids up and moving. All right, those new nutrition guidelines set to be unveiled this morning. Health and Human Services Secretary Sebelius, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Great to be with you.